On the edge of the wide and mysterious Oyo forest, in a small, quiet village, there was an unusual night when no bird sang, no breeze stirred, and the village drum lay silent. Shadows loomed long, stretching out from each hut like reaching hands, and even the fireflies seemed afraid to shine. Yet, one humble farmer dared to go out alone into the stillness, carrying nothing but a battered hoe and a small sack of seeds. His name was Jare. Jare was known for his kindness, his wrinkled hands always busy helping his neighbors. But that night, he was alone. Many thought he was foolish to go out to his field under such a heavy moon, but Jare had a peculiar look in his eye, one that hinted at something only he could see. As he tilled the soil under the dim moonlight, he whispered, "Oh, Earth, I have given my heart to you for years. And tonight, I ask you for one thing in return." With each strike of the hoe, he buried a handful of his last seeds. These were precious seeds, the last of his harvest, his entire wealth. He gave them willingly to the earth, trusting it like an old friend. When the final seed was planted, he sighed, exhausted but hopeful, and turned to walk back home. But before he could take a step, a warm wind whipped around him, rustling the leaves and stirring the soil. Jare stumbled back, his heart pounding. Out of the dust rose a strange figure, a tall, ancient woman with hair as wild as the rainforest and eyes as deep as a well. She looked at him with a smile that was equal parts kindness and mystery. "Jare," she said, her voice like the low hum of the village drum, "you have given to this land all you had, asking nothing in return. Such a heart deserves a reward." Jare, though trembling, managed a smile. "All I want is for my village to thrive," he replied. "If you can help with that, I'd be grateful." The woman nodded slowly, and with a wave of her hand, the seeds in the earth began to glow. A small sprout burst from each spot where Jare had planted them, growing taller and stronger by the second. Within moments, his field transformed into a lush forest of crops, yams, maize, cassava, and vegetables as far as the eye could see. Jare's jaw dropped as he took in the impossible sight. "Thank you, great mother of the land," he whispered. The woman nodded, her form beginning to fade with the morning light. "Remember, Jare, share this bounty with your people, and it will never run dry. But take more than you need, and it will wither." Jare bowed, and by the time he lifted his head, the woman was gone, leaving only the soft rustling of leaves and the morning sun shining over his new field. News of Jare's miraculous harvest spread through the village like wildfire. Villagers flocked to his farm in awe, their mouths watering at the sight of the abundant crops. Jare, true to his word, shared his harvest with everyone who came. The entire village rejoiced, feasting and celebrating the gift. Laughter rang out as the villagers danced under the stars, filling the air with songs of gratitude. "Jare, you are too kind," shouted Teyo, the village carpenter, with a grin. "Tell us, did you charm the spirits to get all this?" Jare chuckled, shaking his head. "I asked nothing but the earth's kindness," he replied. "And remember, friends, we must take only what we need. That is the way to keep this blessing." The villagers nodded, but some found it hard to resist the endless bounty. A few, like greedy Oba the merchant, sneaked to the field at night to take extra crops. Each time Oba grabbed more than his share, the land around his house seemed to grow drier and more barren. Soon, his home was surrounded by cracked, dusty ground, while the other villagers enjoyed rich soil and strong harvests. One day, as Oba tried to sneak away with an armful of yams, he tripped and fell into the dry dirt with a loud hoof. The villagers gathered around, chuckling as he struggled to stand, covered in mud. "Perhaps the spirits have something to say about greed," Teyo joked with a wink. Oba, red-faced and embarrassed, looked around and saw the knowing smiles of his neighbors. At that moment, he realized the folly of his actions. With a sigh, he returned the yams and muttered an apology. From that day, he never took more than he needed. As the seasons passed, Jare's farm continued to flourish, feeding the village year after year. The villagers learned to work together, planting, harvesting, and sharing the bounty with gratitude and humility. They honored the promise made by Jare, never taking more than they needed, and the earth blessed them for it. One day, a traveler passing through the village asked, "What is the secret to your prosperity?" An elder pointed to Jare, who was now older, his hair dusted with gray but his spirit as kind as ever. "Our secret is simple," the elder replied, "a generous heart and the wisdom to give back what we take." Jare nodded with a smile. True wealth is found in the kindness we share, not in the riches we hoard. And so, Jare's lesson spread far and wide. The village, known as the Grateful Village, became a place of refuge for travelers and neighbors alike, a haven of abundance, laughter, and joy. And though Jare eventually left this world, his spirit lived on in the hearts of the villagers, who passed down his story and his values to each generation. Greed and selfishness lead to loneliness and ruin, but generosity and respect for the land bring endless blessings. True wealth lies not in how much we possess, but in how much we share.